You are listening to the Curtis King Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Curtis King Podcast. If you are listening via Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you're listening to, please make sure you subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, first of all, welcome to both of y'all, wherever you're projecting from. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, especially if there's some content today that you resonate with. So for starters, we got to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. The world has shifted ever since I got braids, and it's crazy because yes, there are braids on top of my head. It's probably the first time people are seeing me since all of this commotion outside has been going down, and I decided now was the time to get rid of my Einstein haircut because I was looking mighty wild out here. Ray didn't want to let me know I was looking wild out here. He was just taking photos, and I was just sitting there looking at all of these photos that popped up, and I was like, man, it is progressively getting worse. So I need some kind of order, some kind of organization of what I got going on, and I found somebody out here in my area to braid it up, and it was clean. It was clean. But speaking of cleanliness, it was something I did with the hesitation, as I'm sure many of you have been operating with as you've gone on and about your daily activities and your errands. Some of you are still going to work. Some of you are still going to school. Now, at the recording of this, most schools, especially in the California area, have already been shut down. I know LAUSD shut down, which is a major school district out here. But bars, restaurants, gyms, movie theaters, pretty much anything that gathers more than 15 people has been closed down. And I don't know how you're feeling about it, but I want to use today not to focus primarily on that, but I did want to take a section today just to talk to those folks out there that, you know, even if you're not showing it on the outside, you're panicking on the inside. You're feeling anxiety about what's going on. Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going on. As of the recording of this, there's a lot of folks out there that don't know exactly how to combat the coronavirus. For a lot of people, they didn't really take it serious until it started affecting NBA players like Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and who else? It got Tom Hanks, aka Mr. Rogers. I just bought that movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It was a really great movie, but I bought that movie a couple of days before he got diagnosed with it. Idris Elba. And so there's a lot of folks now who are paying a heightened amount of attention because they're looking at these people who are, first of all, influential. And second of all, you know, they obviously have the resources and the means to protect themselves from things like this. And it even got them. So whether or not you believe in this whole situation going on, whether you're being skeptical, whether you're afraid shitless right now, I think now is the time to gather yourself and just focus on the facts. The facts are that the world around us is changing. It has always been changing and is going to continue to change. There are some things that are within our power, washing our hands, making sure we have good hygiene, not touching our faces, keeping a safe amount of social distancing, taking a time to take a break from parties and concerts and things like that. Not so much because it's just protecting you, but because of the fact that there are still folks out here who are out and about that you can infect and hurt, whether it's the elderly or just folks with autoimmune diseases that makes them more vulnerable. So that being said, we got to get that out the way first. I didn't really notice how much of an impact things were happening, how serious it was. Not until, the NBA is something I watch on a regular basis. It's something of course, I'm a big Laker fan. You should know by now, huge Laker fan. So when they canceled or suspended the season, that was the first kind of sign that, okay, this is something serious, but it still didn't really hit home until it hit close to home. Nobody in here is sick, first and foremost. That's not what I'm saying. But I went to the grocery store looking to get just some essentials. And I looked at the toilet paper section, and it looked like the Los Angeles Clippers trophy case. It was very empty. It was very empty. It was nothing there. It was no toilet paper. It was no paper towels. It was, yeah. And I went in there, and folks were very irritable. They were very, had short tempers. The lines were ridiculous around the aisles. And all I wanted to do was go in there and just see if they had some toilet paper, and just go in there and see if they had, some vegetables and things like that. And, the things that I saw that was very ironic was that the rubbing alcohol and the sanitizer wipes and all these things were gone, but the medicine was still filled. The vegetables were still full. And these are things that can help your immunity and your system protect itself. But when people are panicking, they're not thinking straight. And so I've been making it a commitment of minds not to fall into the panic, because regardless of how serious this situation is, panic is not an energy that's going to help you. Panic is not going to make you productive. Panic is not going to put you in a place to look at the opportunity that this is, especially now that we are all being instructed to stay in our homes and pretty much self-quarantine until this thing kind of figures itself out, or until they figure out a vaccine, or whatever the case may be. They may have even figured it out by the time you guys see this episode. But I just want to make sure that, because I speak specifically to music producers, I first spoke to the human in you, but now let's talk to the music producer, because this is an opportunity for what we do is already something that doesn't require us to always be out and about. Matter of fact, the online producer of 2020 is more than likely working. Their operations are more than likely from their room, from their home, and it's not a necessity for you to leave the house. You don't even have to go to Guitar Center. Most of the stuff that you need can be delivered to you. You don't even have to go buy software in the boxes anymore. You can literally download that if you have an internet connection. So most of our jobs, thankfully, allow us to stay and work remote from home. And so we have to look at this situation as an opportunity. No matter how long they say that they suggest we stay quarantined, this is an opportunity. And I've spoke about this in a few episodes before, about the businesses that grew during huge financial crisis times. I talked about the businesses that came along when people were panicking, and it seemed like this was not a place that new ideas and new businesses would be born, but it's happened over and over and over again, from Walt Disney to FedEx to a list, numerous. You go back a few episodes and listen to that episode, but keep your head above you. Keep your head on your shoulders. Keep straight, keep focused, and look at this as an opportunity, especially if you are a producer that is in the business of servicing other producers, and if you're a producer that's in the business of servicing rappers. Because please believe, no matter how much anxiety you have, there are some people who are looking at this and saying, cool, put me in a house for the next 30 days or 60 days. I'm about to cook up. I'm about to rap. I'm about to make as many songs as I can and put out as much stuff as I can, because what's the common denominator? Everybody's home with a lot of time on their hands, right? I saw even Xbox Live went down. I seen like there was a situation where whatever the Wii online situation is, or whatever, I don't even play the games, but they have like, those things are not even available. So they're forcing the creatives to be creative. So use this as an opportunity. Use it as an opportunity to say, okay, if I service producers, maybe I should begin to work on sound kits or sound design. Maybe I should learn audio synthesis, sound synthesis. Maybe I should learn how to make a 808 from scratch. Maybe I should go take courses that are already out there. BusyWorks Beats, Slate Digital, follow the homie Larry O. Like, maybe I should actually go tap into these things now. This is not a time to be sitting idle and worried out of your mind about what's going to happen next, because inevitably what's going to happen is going to happen. I've been doing a few different things mentally that have helped me kind of keep my mind on the work at hand. One of which is taking care of my body, which is for everybody should be a number one priority right now. Even without the gyms being open, there's so many things that you can do at home. Just effing Google home workouts, right? Use the arm of your couch or the edge of your bed to start doing some push-ups, right? Just get yourself in some kind of a regimen that challenges you physically first, because we all know that when things happen to us physically, it can overtake anything that's happening to us mentally. A strong mind can be very much challenged by a vulnerable body. So I'm glad that I set up a space in the house that has always been the workout space. It ain't much in it, but it's enough. It's enough that I need to get done. It's a few weights. It's a treadmill. It's a bench. That's it. That's all we need. We're going to make it happen. We're going to get it done. Second thing is diet. What am I putting into my body? Because ultimately that is going to determine how much energy I have for the next however many days that this goes down. If I'm not putting the right things in my body, if I'm putting a bunch of sugar in my body, these are things that are going to be counterproductive to building your immune system. If this is the time to actually consume some salt. I mean, hopefully, unless you are dealing with some health issues that you got to keep your sodium levels low, please consult a doctor, by the way. But this is the time to really pay attention to getting greens in your system, right? Maybe sticking to one or two of the same meals every single day, just for the level of getting yourself in a regimen of not worrying about, oh my God, what am I going to eat next? They just shut down my favorite restaurant. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid to go to fast food. I do not want any producer to walk out the other end of these 30 days or whatever many days it is and be the same person. There's too much opportunity. You got books in your house. Hell, you don't even need books in your house. If you got a phone and you can download Kindle, get a book. Start reading it on your phone. You don't even need to have physical books in front of you. This is an opportunity if you choose to view it as an opportunity. So please take full advantage of this. I want you to come out the next 30 days of this and have it in your mind that I am stronger mentally, I'm stronger physically. And then also let's get to the work, the creative work at hand. I want you to get to that creative work, and I want you to look at this from the perspective of, okay, so I'm locked down for the next 30 days. Whether it's your job that did that to you or whether it's schooling, I want you to look at the next 30 days as an opportunity to turn into a beast in some category of your music production. Do not come out the other end of this with being emotionally drained, right? And I understand. I sympathize with you. I have compassion for those who are worrying because there are people who are dying. But you must keep your wits about you. You must, for the sake of your future, for the sake of your family. You must not overreact. You must make sure that you keep your head about you, even if you're feeling a little bit of anxiety. You got to direct that energy into something productive. So for some of you, maybe that is the next 30 days working on a beat a day. For some of you, maybe it is learning sound synthesis. For some of you, maybe it is starting to finally crack open those VSTs that you bought months and months ago because they had a sale, a Black Friday deal, and you never opened it up. Maybe it's that time. Use that. Something else that I've been using for myself, and we're going to leave it at this before we go to a quick sponsorship break, is the fact that I've been keeping the future in mind, and I've been trying to make it as clear as possible, not from the sense of leaving the present moment. The present moment is all too important, but I think it's been a fun sort of mind-strengthening game to imagine myself speaking to my grandchildren and imagine them asking me about, man, what was March 2020 all about? I've read it in my history books. I read about that time. Yo, grandpops, what was that like? It's the same thing as me when I was asking my grandfather, what were the 70s like? It had to be a crazy time, huh? It was all kind of drugs around, huh? It was all kind of crazy stuff, hippies and all kind of crazy stuff. What was that like? I imagine that I'm going to be the same vicarious experience for my grandchildren. And they're going to ask a question, a very important question that I'm going to have to either lie about or be honest about. How were you during those times? Were you scared? Were you hoarding toilet paper? Were you cutting paper towels in half to make toilet paper? I think about that. And in every one of my actions, it gives me a level of responsibility, a level of confidence, a level of self-respect to know that these are times that come, but they eventually pass. That being said, let's take a quick little commercial break and thank our sponsors. This podcast has been powered by our friends at distrokid.com. Music producers, for those of you that sell beats online, you understand the headache that can occur once an artist has bought a beat from you and they go past your license terms and streams. Trying to get them on the phone, better yet, trying to get them to respond to an email can be an extreme headache as you get the additional payments that are entitled to you based upon your license agreement. Why not use DistroKid's team features to make getting your payments as easy as possible? Sign up now at distrokid.com/VIP/Curtis King to get a 7% discount off, but also to utilize the team features so that you can ensure that you get paid whenever the artist gets paid and you get the appropriate splits. Once again, sign up to DistroKid today. So that being said, we spent the first half of this podcast talking about the old Rona. And I'm pretty sure this is not what you want to focus on. And I don't want to focus on this, but I do want to focus on a few concepts that may be loosely based upon mindset, loosely based upon how to view this time and how to approach your work. One of those things is understanding the necessity to be resourceful when the resources are low. Many people have so much worry, so much energy in them right now that they can't do anything with because they're afraid that they don't have access to resources. When I went to my grocery store and I saw that all the toilet paper was gone, I mean, even the toilet paper that was, complete trash. I'm not going to say any brands, but there's some brands that try to wipe yourself and it leaves behind some gifts. and those were even gone, right? And speaking of which, this is a random thought, but I was in Target the other day trying to look for some stuff. They didn't have anything either. But I was walking down the aisle where the pizzas are, and I noticed there was a pizza brand. I don't know the brand, and they had a Sicilian pizza that looked good on the box. And when things are looking like people are panic buying as if it is the Armageddon and nobody buys your pizza, it was stacked. I mean, it was like so much space. They could have laid out every one of the pieces they had and filled the shelves. You mean during a time where people are afraid of their resources being gone, they won't even eat your pizza? It may be time to go back to the drawing board with the people that make your recipe. That's just a random thought that came to my mind when I was sitting there. I was like, damn, all the Hot Pockets gone? Well, they had a Philly cheesesteak Hot Pocket. I guess nobody wanted that. It had nothing. All the ice cream gone, right? All the black licorice is gone. I don't know who out there eating black licorice during this time. That's terrible. It's a terrible decision. But all that stuff is gone. They don't even want to eat your pizza, and it's the last pizza on earth? I wouldn't eat your pizza if it was the last pizza on earth. That is an insult to whatever brand that was. Please go back to the drawing board. This time should be a very reflective time to think to yourself, man, nobody wanted to even eat our pizza when there was no food left. That says a lot. Aside from that, back to the topic at hand. I got to go on my rants. Resourcefulness versus resources. The problems that we have in our lives, and I learned this from a quote from Tony Robbins. I don't know it verbatim, but I do know it had to do with the fact that most of us think that our problems are from a lack of resources. I don't know enough rappers that'll buy my beats. I don't have enough money to put up ads. I don't have enough people that support me to stream my music in order to make a living off of it. My family don't support me. My girlfriend, my significant other don't support me. Man, I'm trying to get sponsors, but they say my social network is too small. Your problems you have confused with being a lack of resources. And that is not the problem. That is not the foundation of your problem. It's a lack of resourcefulness, knowing what to do with what you have. I am the most thankful that I have ever been, that I had a long period in my life where I had nothing. I had nothing. Where I had to make the most out of what I have. And I had to recognize that even the statement I just made right now about having nothing was a complete lie. I had something. I remember looking in the fridge when financially things were really bad. I looked in the fridge and I saw some Del Taco meat from the other night, right? Some Del Taco meat from like some tacos that spilled over. I saw a flour tortilla. I saw slices of cheese, and my mind started to work. I was like, man, okay, all right. Do I really want to eat this taco meat? Okay, maybe, I don't know if and I did. And I took the taco meat, I put it in the microwave, okay? I got the flour tortilla and I put the taco meat inside the flour tortilla. I put slices of cheese over it. And I came to find out that wasn't taco meat. It was actually burger meat because I was eating meat at the time. It was actually burger meat. And so I said, I got a Foreman grill. I'm finna make a taco burger. And that's what I did that day. I don't know if I invented that. I might have invented that back then, but I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I did it. And I ate there, and I remember putting it on. I forget what social media was the one at that time, but I remember putting on social media like, yeah, you got to be resourceful with what you got. And I made a taco burger. And you know what? It wasn't no better than anything that I get from Taco Bell because most of us know how much the food stinks, but when you're hungry, it doesn't matter because it all tastes the same. And so as I did that, I made it and I was like, you know what? I'm a resourceful person, human being. And then I had a homie that was staying with us for a little bit named Richard Wright, and he'll tell you the story himself. We had a time where our pilots went out in our stove and we couldn't make anything on with the pots. My mans, I've never seen anybody cook top ramen. Not top ramen. Was it top ramen? Yes, that's the one in the package. Top ramen. I've never seen anybody cook it in a coffee cup. My man sat there and figured out a way to boil water and make that. He kept stirring it, kept putting it in the microwave. Another 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Kept putting it in the microwave, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Kept putting it in the microwave. He came back and was sitting there like, you can be hungry if you want to, Curtis, but it's kind of good right now. And I was like, you know what? I can learn something from you. And so my point is this. When everybody is running like a chicken with their head cut off and they're like, oh my gosh, you have to change your mindset. You cannot fall into the hype. You cannot fall into the majority of people's thinking because they're not thinking logical. If you're buying more toilet paper than medication, you're not thinking logical. If you're fighting other human beings over toilet paper, and there are resources out there, like I looked on, because my first thing is this, no panic. Let's check Amazon. Amazon sold out. Okay, let's just run a search for toilet paper on Google. Let's just see. Then I see an article. I think it was by the New York Post or one of these major publications. And it said direct-to-consumer toilet paper companies are making a killing during this time. So I thought, direct-to-consumer toilet paper. Interesting. I'll look into that. I found a company called Peach Goods. And guess what? I put an order in, and 5 days later, I got toilet paper. Now, I'm not saying that to oversimplify what's going on because there's more problems than obviously toilet paper. There are people out here who are really sick and people who are really hurting. But what I'm saying is this. No matter the circumstances, you are you. No matter what comes along in your life, no matter what's happening, you are you. And you're going to be stuck with you. Whether it is a sick you, 100% healthy you, a sad you, mad you, emo you, angry you, you are going to be you. You are stuck with you. So you better make peace with certain parts of yourself, if not your entire self. Make peace with that. It is much better for you to look at this time period and say, what can I learn from this? How can this possibly be to my advantage? As I look around, people are paying more attention to washing their hands. Didn't know that was a real problem. I just figured some people are just nasty. Some people. Come to find out a lot of people are nasty. Be using the bath. Don't even think about washing their hands. People admitting it publicly, like, if I'm in the house and I'm using the bathroom, I don't never wash my... What? What? I visited you. That's nasty. I want to wash my hands just thinking about it. Right? I know I touched my beard 30 seconds ago. I'm thinking about that right now. That's how germaphobe I become. But I think it's good. I think some social distancing is good. I think we need to miss being around other people. We have become so desensitized by social media, by all these platforms that encourage us to be connected, but not necessarily in communion, not necessarily in community, not necessarily be close to one another in a physical sense, that we forgot what that feels like. A lot of us don't hang out with our friends. If it's not in a Facebook group, if it's not in an IG group, if it's not in some kind of regard online sharing memes, we don't even see our friends. Might text them. That's still to me a form of social media. So in this time period, this has got to be to the advantage of many different people. All of us in some shape or form. Even if you catch this, you're one of the people who do, this will make you pay attention to the things you're touching. I've never been so aware, because it's not just about me. It's about my son, my wife. It's about when I'm around my mom and my sister. And I want to make sure that I keep myself in tip-top shape. I have never been more grateful to be vegetarian, right? Not saying I'm better than anybody, but I've never been more grateful, because now I look at it like, I don't want no parts of no meat right now. Pause. I don't want no parts of no ground beef, pork. And I don't want that. That would be the worst thing. Because guess what? I'd be pooping more. And I would need a lot more toilet paper. And it wouldn't be no, okay, I'm not going to go into details. But I'm just glad that I've kept myself light. My body's light. I don't have a necessity to consume 7 to 8 meals a day. Right? I'm getting myself to a point where I'm doing some intermediate fasting. It's giving me more mental clarity. It's making me make more sound decisions. It's making me make greater decisions when I'm making music. There's got to be some kind of advantage to this. Even if it is for us figuring out, you know what? I've always had a vision to want to do something. There's never been a greater time to open up another stream of income than right now, especially over the internet. If you have a vision, if you have a business, if you have an aspiration as a creative, as a producer, as an artist, whoever it is watching this, whatever it is, even if it's not music related, there has never been a better time for you to do research, and not even research, never a better time for you to actually do. You can do research anytime. Do. Create a website. Don't gotta be the greatest website in the world. Create it. Learn from experience what things actually matter to your customers. Right? Maybe not having the best website in the world matters to your customers. There's a lot of websites out here that look supremely cheap, but they get the job done because of who they serve, and their needs is not aesthetic needs. It's about getting the product. This is the time. Please, my friends, please do not come out the other end of this in more panic than your average consumer out here. Don't be that. Use it as an opportunity to launch that vision, launch that dream, because I guarantee you, if you don't do it, there's somebody around you that's going to come out the other side of this and not be recognizable. They spent these days reading. They didn't spend these days looking for the latest news. They didn't spend this looking for the latest case. Oh my God, there's 2 of them in my area. Oh my God. They didn't spend that time doing this, because regardless of what happens, let's go to the extreme, even if this is the end. You got to make a decision who you are on the Titanic. Remember the movie Titanic? Remember when the ship was going down and everybody knew it was going down, and they said women and children only? And then it got to a point where all the boats were gone and then nobody had an opportunity to get off? Some people had to make some decisions. I'm either going to be the guy that's jumping off the side of the boat and jumping into the water that they described as I remember somebody described who actually survived, said the water at that time was so cold it felt like 1,000 knives entering your body at the same time. So you could be that person. There's some people who jumped off the side, didn't make it to the water, banged their head, and went unconscious before they hit the water. Then there were some people who were playing the violin and soothing others. I saw a quote And I don't think it was by chance. But after I watched the Mr. Rogers movie, I feel like I understood him a little bit more. I watched a documentary on him, and I really had a different appreciation for who he was in a world like this. But something that I saw him say was, whenever he would see bad things on the news as a kid, his mother said, instead of worrying, to look for the helpers. And so I'm using this time to be one of the helpers. And if I can help you in any way, if I can offer you words of encouragement, if I can keep your mind focused on the prize, focused on the work at hand, then I have done my job, because this is exactly the work that I'm supposed to be doing. This is my purpose, is to ensure and to reassure and to encourage and to motivate and to inspire those out there who they're right there in the middle between I'm about to lose it all and I got this. And I want to let you know, you got this. This time will pass, and then another time is going to come where something even crazier than this is going to happen. It's inevitable. So let it happen. So I am going to play, if this is the end, I am going to play the violin, and I'm going to soothe people. But I don't think it is at all. I think this is the beginning. This is a transition, and this is an evolution that happens. It happens. It's happened in the past. There have been things quadruple times worse than this. And they didn't have near the resources we have. I saw a meme, and I'm a butcher, but they said your grandparents were asked to stay in certain conditions that were almost inhumane during World War II. You being asked to stay on your couch. You being asked not to go do sauna yoga. You being asked, you know what, maybe you shouldn't go collaborate with the homie right now. Maybe y'all should just chill. Maybe you should just email stuff. You're not being asked a whole lot. So, chill. And for those of you that are out there who are like, well, I got a job, Curtis, you know what? I sympathize with you. But once again, I have to remind you, this is also a time that you can use as an opportunity. Please do not waste this. I heard Grant Cardone say it earlier today. He said, never waste tough times, because there is an opportunity within these tough times. Thank you for watching today's podcast. I really appreciate all of you that continue to share great words and inspirational words. I want you to continue that. I want you to leave some words in the comments, especially if you're on YouTube. If you're listening right now and you're on Apple Podcasts or any of the other platforms, come over here to YouTube. My YouTube channel is Curtis King TV. Come over here and leave some comments, leave some words of encouragement. I want to know what you're doing during this time that can inspire somebody else. How are you staying focused? How are you keeping your mind on the prize? I think that could help a lot of people through this time. And that's all I want to see, is people continue to be productive and not be worrisome like everybody else out here, because you can't do nothing with worry. Worry is not God-like. So get to work. Read the book. Launch the vision. In this life, you will not be full of life until you decide to live life to its fullest. Once again, it's Curtis King of SlapExperts.com. Have a good one. Yo. Okay, sanitize that now.